Hey everyone, it's been about 8 months since I gave you my car tour, my car camper tour of the Subaru. So in the last 8 months, I've spent about 5.5 months in the vehicle, accumulated over time, not all consecutively. But after the first 3 months, I rebuilt the car based off all the things I liked and didn't like about it. So I did a whole rebuild of it, and then I just got back yesterday from a about 6.5 week trip through the United States. So I've lived in the new build out, which I'm going to give you guys a tour of right now, for about almost 7 weeks. We could say 7 weeks. So yeah, we're going to go start the tour. I'm going to call this here the ultimate 4 seasons car camper, because there's a lot of cool little updates I've done on it. So stay tuned. So here I am inside. A lot of the layout is the same. I still have the bed on the passenger side of the vehicle. I still have the front seats both free, just a little bit of stuff on the front seat. But the biggest change here to start off with is, well, I was rushed when I built the car because I was trying to get on the trip right away. So I didn't paint it or make it look nice like the last one. So as you can see, the cabinets look quite a bit different, and I don't have my seat right beside, but we'll get to this here when we get to the kitchen side of the house. The biggest thing you're probably gonna notice is I used to have my 3000 watt inverter right here. What I've done is I've elevated the bed, and I've actually have underneath the bed with the rest of the electronics. So as you can see, I don't have much headroom anymore, but overall, like, it's not bad. Like, I never really sat up in the bed much anyways. It was still almost a little bit nicer now because I can kind of have a resting spot with the way the back of the seat is. But we're gonna go take a look at the electronics right now. Okay, so back seat, passenger side. What we've got in here, so we now have the 3000 watt inverter here, still have my SOK batteries right here, and the rest of all the electronics are all underneath the bed, right underneath here. So with the extra 3 inches of room here, I was able to adjust how I ran my heating, but we'll get into that later with the heating. So basically everything underneath the bed is all identical to how it was before. But the only big difference is I have the inverter charger right here, and that there is all underneath the bed now. Biggest pro to having the inverter underneath the bed now is it has better airflow. It was a little cramped beforehand. I noticed things got pretty hot when I was charging, but now with underneath the bed, I have a lot more room underneath there for airflow. The inverter stays way cooler, and worst case, I just open the door and let it blow all that hot air straight outside, and I don't have any issues at all with charging anymore. All right, so for the kitchen, the biggest change I made in the kitchen was I turned everything from being able to go over top of the bed and open up right here to now all coming out through the directly to the back of the vehicle. So for this part of the tour, the kitchen, a few changes. You'll notice the air fryer. I went with a toaster oven air fryer now, so I have pretty much an oven. If you follow my Instagram, you'll notice that I did put I cook a complete lasagna from scratch with this toaster oven. Other than that, I put the microwave up here, which is now facing out the back, so I don't have the issue with going over top of the bed mattress. And my induction cooktop will still come all the way out and sit right on the little garage that I have in the back over here. So I like it better. It's easier to work, it's easier to cook. It's a lot nicer in that way. All right, so coming around to the side of the vehicle here, let's get to the fridge. So if you notice here, I used to have my seat right here. I barely ever used that seat, so I stuck the fridge there. Originally, before, I didn't want to give up the seat, so I had the cooler on the front seat. But eventually I just started realizing that I barely ever use this seat, so it wasn't worth the real estate to have a whole seat here when my fridge could sit so much nicer here rather than on my front seat. Fridge, I love the fridge. I'm not going to get into too much of the details of it because I'm going to do a pros and cons review of a bunch of the new stuff I have in my car, but that'll be a later video, so stay tuned. Subscribe if you want to see when that there is going to drop. But yeah, it's a 2-compartment fridge. I love it. It's great. Moving on. All right, coming around to the passenger side front seat. Now I just have, for the rest of my kitchen here, I'll have like water and whatnot that'll stay in the foot there, so when I'm driving the heat will keep the defroster, when you have the bottom vent on, it'll keep the water from freezing. And then I have all my cooking stuff, some spices, and I'll normally keep my food in this area here too. And then I also have these little sponges for cleaning, which we'll get to the next part of my tour, which is doing dishes and taking a shower. So when it comes to doing my dishes, what I've been doing is I've been using this little contraption here for doing dishes. It's pretty cool. It just comes with a hose and a little 12-volt adapter. Plug in the hose. It's a little cold right now, so there might be some frozen water in there, but the hose will plug in right there. And from there, you just have your heater on, your off button, and your pump button. And then you got a bunch of other stuff. When I do the product review, I will include this one here and there. I like it because it comes with a couple other sponges. I use pink for body, yellow for dishes, and so I can shower with this here. Yeah, I can shower with this. I can do quite a bit with just this little thing. So that will be part of the review that I do. So that about sums it up for the kitchen. Moving on to the heater. So for the heater, as you can see, it's still right there where the spare tire was. Spare tire is now up in the Thule on top. Up top, I also have a bunch of like my skydiving gear and other sports equipment that I'll take with me on trips. I put it all up there with the spare tire. So a few changes that I made. If you remember in the last video, the heater came out right underneath the seat beside. So that would be right beside here. I didn't want it, we'll get the angle a little better, right beside here. So I didn't want the heat to be warming up the fridge. So now I have it coming out in 2 different spots, one underneath the driver's seat and one up by the passenger seat as well. So everything, all the heat comes out through the front and gets pushed to the back. Now carrying on with that there, we've got the little box here, or my garage as I like to call it. And the garage is right here. So as you can see, it's completely different color and a lot of changes have been made on it. I actually rebuilt the entire thing. I used a little bit thinner plywood, and then I also cut out most of the metal. What that did was that there gave me a lot lighter. I almost shaved 40 pounds off of it. The other thing is you notice my license plate isn't on the back here anymore. I actually cut about this much space off the top of it, about 3 inches. And what that there did was that there allowed me to be able to not have to move my license plate around, but the inside still looks identical. I still have my gas steering, I have my diesel, extra windshield washer fluid, jumper cables, and the heat diesel jerry for the heat with the pump in the back. All right, so carrying on inside the vehicle, we're going to show the difference in the cabinets here. So what I have is I got my big box right here. In the back here, I have like a air compressor for and a tire repair kit for if I ever have a flat. Also, this huge box here is where I store like extra food, or it's where I store clothes or anything I want. It's just kind of a miscellaneous storage box. Up here, I have my new charging station. A lot more space up here. And I also have this little mosquito killer. It actually came in really handy in the summer. There's a couple times that I got into the, or some mosquitoes got into the car. So that thing there worked miracles for killing mosquitoes. As you can probably see inside, there's lots of dead mosquitoes and flies and whatnot. So works actually really well. If you remember, I used to have the air vent fan that was in the sunroof. That did not work. So basically what I was having happen was the airflow that I had it going out the sunroof. Problems I had with that was twofold. The rain still got in even with the sunroof just a little crack open in like the vent position, and mosquitoes definitely found their way around it. So I came up with this other contraption, which is I have the same shape as an HVAC register with a fan in the bottom, and all it does is it just pumps air out the window. So all I have to do is just open the window up, clip it on to the window itself, and then close the window up. And then if you want, you can take a look. You can see it just seals up really nicely. This here plugs in. This just plugs in, and from there you don't have any wind or any rain getting in. All the bugs, the fan is powerful enough that the bugs pretty much don't get in anymore. The screen that you saw last time was a hand sewn screen. I just took a patio door screen and I just used a hand sewing kit and I sewed it around to fit on the exact shape of the door itself. But now what I've done is I have this new fancy screen from Amazon, which was way cheaper than me buying the screen, buying the string, everything else. So this here, let me just get this to a good position. We'll just come and go over top of your door. And it was like 4 of them for like 20 or 30 bucks. I can't even remember, but it sits like perfectly over the door. So I never had to worry about sewing again. These things here withstood the test of time way better. I'll try to put a link in the description underneath for them. So this sums up the car tour. Oh, a few things I forgot. I still have my cooking lights right here, and they go just to a little switch right there. Super awesome. Highly recommend it. Cooking with light, super awesome. Anyhow, this sums up the car tour. Stay tuned for a pros and cons video of all the new updates that I've had on it, all the things I've bought for it, and I also plan to do a little build series. I've recorded all the building of the car, I just never actually put the video together, so hopefully this winter I'll have some time to edit that video up and show you guys how I built the whole thing. Anyhow, till next time, see you later.